Hey everyone, welcome to the only podcast that helps employers and recruiters connect with more candidates through technology-inspired conversations. Mastering recruiting technology is the key to hiring great talent. That's why this show exists. Today's episode is sponsored in part by Dahlia. Is your career site delivering conversions you need? Dahlia's plug-and-play tech turns any employer career site into a high-performance candidate conversion engine. No replatforming required, live in days. Instead of forcing candidates to search, Dahlia lets you connect seamlessly and instantly shows them the best matching jobs the moment they land on your site. Returning visitors get a personalized experience that picks up right where they left off. And if they're not ready to apply today, well, Dahlia keeps them engaged with personalized job alerts via text and email automatically. Employers who plug Dahlia into their career site can double the amount of qualified applicants without any increase in traffic. So visit dahlia.co to learn more. And by Jobcase. Jobcase is an online community where workers of all kinds, like hourly employees, tradespeople, even healthcare technicians, access jobs, make connections, and support each other in any aspect of their work life. So visit jobcase.com/hire and tap into their 120 million strong job seeker network. All right, time for another practitioner podcast. This week I have Zach Larson. He's the Senior Director of People Strategy, Analytics, and Innovation at student transportation company FirstStudent. Zach, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, how's it going, Chris? Thanks for having me.
Excellent to have you here. Looking forward to today's conversation. Always curious how companies hire and what tech they use. So, really psyched to dive in here. So let's set the stage for us, Zach. How many bus drivers and related personnel do you guys have to hire each year? Let's start there.
Oh, yeah. So we're a school transportation company, largest private student transportation company in the world. So over 45,000 yellow school bus drivers,
Wow.
both in the US and Canada, and over 60,000 employees. So typically we're hiring anywhere from 10 to 12,000 school bus drivers, as well as other personnel, including school bus monitors or attendants, dispatchers, and other office personnel and support. So overall hiring probably around 20,000 employees each year.
Wow. Okay. And how big is the TA team there? How many recruiters do you have?
Recruiters, I think we have around 30 recruiters, and then we also have obviously managers supporting them and candidate experience specialists that are helping with the entire candidate journey from the time that they apply all the way to the time they get behind the wheel in revenue service.
Mhm. That's a great question. How long does it take to apply right now for a school? Have you quickened that over time?
Yeah. So it previously the old journey was the candidate would land on the job board. The job board, they'd click apply, land on our career site, then go to click apply again, and would need to create a username and password for Workday, and then submit the Workday application. So obviously it was a clunkier apply process for that candidate. Oftentimes when people see they need to create that username and password again, we see people fall off. So we had about a 5% conversion rate historically. We've made some adjustments to our approach alongside JobSync, and essentially mirrored the Workday apply process on the job boards itself, so that we could have the candidate complete in the environment that they started in. So we have, I think, a greater than 50% conversion rate recently on the job board once they click to apply, as well as on our revamped career site that has the ability for us to capture that initial lead, but also ensure that it's an easier apply solution for them without needing to create that username and password again. So
Very cool.
significant,
So
significantly improved process.
you mentioned Workday and JobSync. We'll get into more of your tech stack here in a second. Roughly how many applications would you guys get every year, would you say, Zach?
Historically, we're getting for the driver population around 200,000 and greater than 250 for obviously all of our driver and other positions.
Wow.
But we've seen a significant increase in the conversion rate, like I was talking about, going from 5% to 50+%. So we've seen some of those numbers jump overnight, which has definitely been a boon for our business going into the school start busy season.
Yeah. Were you guys surprised about that big conversion rate once you went to JobSync and plugged it
Uh,
in?
Yeah, we're definitely prepared for it. So I have some friends that have leveraged JobSync. So Allied Universal and Donna over there have partnered with JobSync to great success. So I know that they saw some of that overnight increase, and we saw some of it as well. I think it was definitely like shocking to some of the folks on our team that expected an increase, but not that significant of an increase. And now, obviously, ensuring that we're getting the appropriate applicant flow where needed, and we're spending our sponsored dollars where it's actually needed to ensure that we're getting enough applicants to fill these roles.
Yeah. It's hiring bus drivers every year. You have to hire a lot of them. What's the biggest challenge in that? Is it just the job advertising spend you have to do, or is it something else? Or
I think it's probably each stage of that applicant journey presents its own challenge. So initially, attracting the talent, ensuring that the candidates understand what this role entails and what the role is, and ensuring that we are giving them the training and tools necessary to obtain their commercial learners permit. So they could come back into our environment and go through our professional driver development program, and then engaging them all the way to day one and behind the wheel. So there's different challenges at each stage of that journey. And then obviously, like as an HR team, once they're in and they're our employees, how do we make sure this is the best experience possible, and keep them engaged, whether it's day one or year
Mhm.
30 or 40.
So you guys train them? You guys just do the certification on your side to get them that permit?
Yeah, so we do both. So we'll have candidates that come in that already have their commercial learners permit, or they already have
Mm.
their CDLB with the passenger and school bus endorsements, or we'll take them through a free commercial learners permit training, where we're getting them prepared for the CLP test for their specific state, and then supporting them with any questions before the test itself. And then once they obtain their commercial learners permit, and they can do the rest of the professional driver development program training, we'll do some virtual courses as well as behind the wheel skills training, so they can go back in and go back into the DMV and get their CDL at that point, and they're ready to support the community after that.
Gotcha. How long does that whole process take, like, to get a permit to be a school bus driver?
It depends on the candidate and how quickly they're willing to get through it, and how quickly on our side we can identify the hours and the trainers to support them on that journey. So the training for the commercial learners permit, I believe, is a 3-day training, and then they're able to go in and get their CLP. And I think there's requirements that you need your CLP for a certain period of time before you can go back and get your CDL, but I believe you can do it in as short as around 3 weeks there. Sometimes it does take a greater period of time if we're unable to get the training hours in as expected during that period. But generally, folks are training anywhere from 3 to 6 hours each day. And the goal along this whole journey is how do we accelerate this as much as we can, and keep the candidates as engaged as possible, so we can go and get them to where we can support all of these school districts and these students with getting to school safely. So the biggest piece to that journey is ensuring that folks are prepared for what this looks like with driving the bigger school bus, and how can we ensure that they have the right tools and they're doing it as safely as possible.
Yes. One more question about bus drivers before we get to more of your HR tech stuff. What do you do in the off season with them? Do you constantly stay communicated about, because they're not driving in the summer, right? How do you guys deal with that as far as bringing them back the next year and stuff?
Yeah, it's super interesting. So it depends on the location. If they have home to school routes for summer school,
Oh,
or if they have charter work. So, for example, where if you're partnering with a church or a wedding venue or
like camps, stuff like that. Yeah, summer
yeah,
camps.
so there's some opportunity to pick up hours during the summer.
Yeah.
as well as we leverage some technology within our HR tech stack. So one of the technologies that we have available to us is called Peakon. So we're able to survey our employee population. So we'll do pulse surveys throughout the summer, which may be something as simple as 1 to 5 questions on different engagement drivers. So we can understand how we can improve their experience when they come back in, and also show them that we care and we're listening, and want to make sure that we're making those adjustments going into the school year. A few other ways they have basically an engagement toolkit from like a global approach, and
Mhm.
folks at the location are able to pick and choose which of those are most meaningful for their audience. And there's also a budget that we identify, so we can do things like barbecues and kickoffs and ensure that we're staying engaged during that slower season. Something we just acquired from an HR tech stack perspective too that we're looking into is leveraging a tool called Spoken, and basically creating short form video content. So
Hmm.
one that I'd like to use going into the school year was sending a request for a video of what was your favorite experience this summer, so that the bus drivers and monitors can share what their experience was, and create that sense of community, and leverage our internal First Connect is what we call it, app that leverages Mango apps too.
As like your company intranet.
Yes, yeah, essentially a company intranet for our all employees, but also for our deskless population too.
That's cool. Very cool. All right. So yeah, you said Workday is your main thing behind the HR tech stack on the bottom, I guess. You've got JobSync as your kind of recruiting marketing layer there. Spoken. What else do you guys have there in place at First Student?
Another company that we partner with is called Talentify. So we have a job optimization approach for Indeed and the other job boards that we partner with. So we're identifying based on the applicant volume that's coming through, whether they're overperforming jobs. So we're naturally getting those impressions. Folks are going through and applying, whether it's small audience and it's a limited number of impressions, limited number of applies, or it's unattractive and high number of impressions and low number of applies. And that helps to identify how we can effectively spend our budget. So the money is going towards those jobs where we have the need and we haven't already met the number of applicants that we need. We have, like I mentioned, from a HR. You were saying HR tech stack or more the TA tech stack?
All of it, yeah.
All of it. I'm trying to see what else. I had a list up here of
How
our
many how
our.
many things do you log into every day, Zach?
What was that?
How many tools do you log into every day?
I try to limit that as much as I can. Also, trying to leverage agents where we can with some of that. So, for example, like the TA data that's coming through, we have an agent that's hooked up to Teams, so I'm able to understand what our applicant volume is, impressions, clicks, and also identify certain data from the BLS that is in that area as well. So I can look into metropolitan statistical areas such as Cincinnati, and try to understand like how many school bus drivers are in that area, what's their average rate of pay, and information like that. So trying to limit the number of different applications that we log into, and I'm looking at the list here. It is a significant list for sure,
Yeah.
but also trying to ensure that we're aggregating that data, and making that data available to the rest of the team within HR and the rest of the org.
Like where's the hardest area to recruit drivers from, do you think?
I would think upstate New York, Western
Mhm.
Pennsylvania, Missouri, and Alaska, from
Wow.
what I've seen, are probably the locations where there is the smallest audience. I think that we can probably continue to get more effective with our approaches in those areas. So what are we yielding from an Indeed perspective, the other job boards perspective, and then how can we identify which uh, job boards may be able to augment our approaches in certain areas. So are we able to partner with a job board like Zip and identify candidates that have been actively searching for jobs and have a CDLB in that area? Is there a way to leverage an agent to reach out to them and bring them into our environment? Is there a way to leverage a tool like Spoken and run social campaigns and share with folks that may not know what a school bus driver entails and like why they like a school bus driver job. So the person, when they come into our environment for that CLP, they don't need to have come from the transportation industry. They could have come from other environments as well. And we could probably do a better job in those tough to fill locations of
Yeah,
exposing the opportunity.
gotcha. Talk about AI agents there a little bit, and AI. How are you guys looking at that at First Student? If you could sort of paint a picture of what a recruiting AI agent you'd want to do for a First Student, like what would that look like? Is it a sourcing thing, or it goes out proactively and tries to find these people, or give me some thoughts around that.
I think there are so many opportunities that and it's sort of a blue ocean here with what we can do. So obviously the biggest challenge within the TA space is how can we engage candidates as quickly and efficiently as possible. So looking to partner with JobSync on an agent called Velocity, which is essentially once the candidate applies, how can we engage them immediately, either via a link, via a call, and get them to the point where we can identify if they are a candidate that has their CDL or CLP and do a hot transfer to one of our candidate experience specialists. If they do not have their CDL or CLP, how do we drive that EVP as best as we can and get them scheduled for training so that they can continue on that journey. So that's one main area that we're focusing on right now, and that could have a huge impact on our business, where we could augment some of the approach that we have in place right now, where we are leveraging Paradox for that candidate engagement throughout the entire journey. Other areas that we're looking at too are leveraging agents in a few different ways. So we have our CLP that we're preparing the candidates for. How can we create essentially like a study buddy to engage them throughout that journey, where
Study buddy.
that journey, and we'll probably not phrase it that way, but how do we create an experience that's bespoke to them and make sure that they can come back into our environment. So that's always been an area that's been challenging historically, is getting people back into our environment and getting them to actually secure the CLP. Also looking into areas such as when I was talking about the list with ZipRecruiter, how can we engage those candidates with a voice agent, looking into some of that with Talentify as well, and then bring them back into our environment. And then areas like hotline cases, tier one, there might be some opportunity with some more general questions that may come through a hotline, or if there's any tribal knowledge within our business, how can we gather some of those details? We're also partnering with a company called Arbor in that space too, where we're essentially going to conduct some listening sessions. So go into a location, have a hypothesis on what is happening, what we'd like to learn, and actually gather that information at scale so we can make some adjustments to improve the experience. So targeting essentially an environment where we're looking at these agents almost as microservices and focusing on specific problems, as opposed to trying to get an agent to do everything for everyone within our business.
Yeah, very interesting. Let's talk about implementing HR tech a bit, Zach. What have you learned about bringing in tools like JobSync or Paradox or Talentify in terms of just that you could pass on to other TA professionals out there in terms of the lessons learned here, best practices, that kind of stuff?
I think a few things. I think most of these decisions that we're making are two-way doors when we're identifying how to leverage an agent. So don't let some decisions hold you back from making an approach. There's always the ability to continue to gather feedback and iterate. So, for example, with Paradox, if we're having a conversation with a candidate and we want to understand what's going to be the outcome there, ensure that we get it set up and tested and it's running as expected. But also, it wouldn't hurt to A/B test multiple different messages to see what's most effective. Or if we're partnering with JobSync with Velocity, understand like we can train the agent, provide the agent with as much content as possible, but we're also not going to think through all the different potential problems. But also Velocity should be able to identify, I don't know this answer. Let me gather that feedback, share it with JobSync as well as the company, and gather the content so I'll be more effective next time. So that's probably the first one is that most of these decisions are two-way doors, so don't let that hold you back. And I think if you want to maintain velocity, like the name too, I think you have to be nimble in that approach. So I think with that, from a team perspective, sometimes aligned action will be more effective than getting overall complete agreement, where it may take a considerable chunk of time. So ensure that you're following the normal approach to the change journey and following the steps to like approach the ad car or whatever approach as best as possible. But if you're looking to be quick and make action, for us, for example, before the school start, you might need to be nimble and move quickly throughout that journey.
I'm on your career site here, firststudentinc.com/careers. Yeah, you've got a link on there for Facebook. How does that help you guys recruit? What do you guys do on there? I'm just curious.
So in the current environment, I believe we have two Facebook pages. So we have our corporate Facebook page and then our recruitment page. And I think we've had our TA teams manage the recruitment page and partner with the locations based on their need and create targeted ads for specific audiences based on that need. I think there's definitely an opportunity to continue to iterate and improve in that area by leveraging some of the technology, like I mentioned, with Spoken, and also potentially with the agents as well. So if I create an ad on Facebook and it's lead gen and I have candidates coming through, based on that list of candidates, is there a way to immediately engage them so I can make them aware of the opportunities that are here and then get them into our environment quicker? So I think we've been historically effective with our social approach, but looking to get even more effective moving forward too.
Yeah, very cool. And finally, full disclosure, folks, for the audience, I'm doing some work with JobSync now. So, but you've gone live, I think, what, 3 weeks now, I think, with JobSync, with your
Yes.
site and stuff. What's been the initial reaction? And talked about the conversions before, but go ahead and here's your chance to show them some love there, Zach.
Oh yeah, it's been a night and day with just the overall approach with every piece of our process. So it's a frictionless apply experience. So it removes all of that burden for the candidate. So it makes it a better experience, not only on Indeed, Jobcase, Zip, all these other job boards where we are mirroring the apply experience, but also even on our career site as well. You can see that there's a significantly higher conversion rate, and we're able to also potentially re-engage the candidates that are coming through our environment. So if you go to our career site, click on apply, the first initial piece of that puzzle will be the lead page and capture the information. And then at that point, if the candidate falls off at any point of that journey, once they come back into our environment, they'll start from where they left off as opposed to needing to start fresh. And that's also a group of candidates that we can identify how to re-engage and get back into our environment. So obviously, like significantly improved application conversion rate, significantly improved overall volume from both an organic traffic and sponsored perspective. But just if we think about the candidate experience, it's a much smoother experience and environment for them, and hopefully once they get into our environment, they're happy with that experience, and we can continue to engage them to the point of hire.
Great. Well, Zach, we appreciate your time today here at Rec Tech. Thanks for stopping by and telling us the story there, First Student, and how you guys recruit.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, that will do for this episode of Rec Tech Podcast. Thanks again to Jobcase and Dahlia for their sponsorship. Be sure to follow myself and Rec Tech Media on LinkedIn. See every podcast, video, and blog we publish. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And remember, always be recruiting.